Touchdown! You did it. You finished all 12 sections. And I know at this point you're out there, you've probably put a couple contracts together, you're probably in the middle of a couple deals right now, and you have a nice short sale business ready to roll. And if you haven't yet, get your butt out there, start making some of these deals happen, because you now have all the ingredients, all the things that you need to get moving with this process. And now it's on you to make it happen. However, I got a bonus for you. This is the bonus part right here. Maybe you listened to some of these videos, and maybe you listened to all 12 and you said, Dave, all that stuff sounded great. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. But can you take it out of my hands for me? Can you do this stuff for me? And guess what? You can work directly with me. We can work together. This next video, you're going to see some of the things that I offer to take the next step. I'm going to send you to my website, and I'm going to ask you to reach out to me. If you want to take the next step with me, you want to work with me directly, check out www.davidoswaldonline.com. Oswald is OSWALD, online.com. Check out this next bonus video, how you can work directly with me, what some of the things that I'll introduce you to, how other students have taken this next step, and also if you want to drop me an email personally to myself or my assistant, info@riversofincome.com. info@rivers, with an S, of income.com. All right, so I've had a blast. It's been tremendous getting a chance to work with you, to teach you, to help you through some of these processes. And I'm sure that if we got together and face-to-face, I could learn a couple things from you as well. So again, I enjoyed it. I look forward to taking the next step. I'd love to have you come out to a boot camp. I'd love to have you actually take advantage of some of the things that and ways in which we can work together. So I'm signing off right here. It's David the Diamond Oswald, and I look forward to seeing you out at one of my events. All right, bye-bye. Exit strategies. Let's talk about where can we get the money? Private funds. What's the difference between hard money and private funds? Anybody remember? Go ahead.
Hard money usually comes with an interest rate as well as points within that you have to pay back. And private funds is, an uncle, an aunt, someone with a large amount of cash that's willing to loan in a joint venture with you. Right. And they might joint venture, and it's a lot more flexible with somebody that you know. However, it still might have an interest rate and points, even with somebody that you know. The difference is that normally with hard money, there's stricter regulations. Let's say Jeff, who was here earlier, has specific standards that he has to meet to lend you hard money. One of them might be that he can lend no more than 65% of the BPO, the broker's price opinion. Whereas somebody lending you hard money that's personally lending you that money might be okay and going a little bit higher on this LTV. So that's the difference. Conventional lenders, if the property's right, you can close on these properties yourself, putting 5% down, 10% down, doing a Nehemiah program, doing these things through conventional lenders. HELOC, anybody know what that is? HELOC? Home equity line of credit. If you have a home right now that has equity in it, get a HELOC on it. Have access to the capital even if you're not going to use it. Credit cards. I gave you a form when you first walked in this morning, how to get lines of credit and credit cards, hundreds of thousands of dollars, fairly simple. You just apply for more cards. You get 6, 7, 8, 10 cards. They could be based on your loan, your LLC. If you have decent credit right now yourself, you could get lines of credit and credit cards on your actual company. And that document that I gave you when you first walk in will explain that. Follow the directions on it exactly. Grants from the government, hard money lenders, loans, life insurance policies, other investors, a combination of any or all. Other investors, a lot of times they'll know how to get the funds. You've met a few other investors here today. Feel the fear and like it. Feel the fear and like it. Moving forward in our workbook to page 50. I say that because doing this business, there will be times where you feel a little bit of fear. You feel a little bit of uncertainty. You're not quite sure what your next step is going to be. You're not quite sure what your end game might be. That's normal though. You should be feeling that. Even coming here today, if this was your first seminar, it should have felt a little bit strange, a little awkward. Should I be here? Is this something that is right for me? All these feelings are normal. Overcome them. Just like that process, like that this is where you're at because you're actually proceeding, you're moving forward. I feel that way often. Understand that others have felt the same way as well. Overcome those feelings. Do it now. Like I say at my preliminary seminars, do it now by a show of hands. Pick a town or a zip code to focus on. Pick an area. If you were to get started today, think about where would I want to focus? Is there a particular town, a couple towns, a zip code? Where am I going to get focused? That's how you can get started immediately. Become an expert on this area. Drive that town a little bit. Get to know that town a little bit. Purposely go through it as you're doing whatever it is that you need to do, your errands, you're picking up dry cleaning, whatever it might be, unless you outsource all of those things. Setting yourself up for success. How do you do that? You invest in yourself and you give yourself the tools. What are some of the tools that you need? You need a cell phone. Might be good to have a digital camera because you will be snapping pictures. A lot of cell phones have decent cameras on them right now. If you can get yourself a digital camera. A fax machine. Who knows what an e-fax is? Electronic fax, email fax. The faxes come into your computer. Use that for incoming. A lot of times that's, to me, the best way. You can get them instantly. Laptop computer is important. GPS for the car, if you're going to be going out to a lot of these properties in the beginning. My first deal, and the first deal for some of my students, was exciting. It was also an opportunity to learn something new and kind of learn as you go. It was the mentality of an entrepreneur that was being grown and groomed as you started through the process. Life is a game, so is real estate. Just take consistent and immediate action. Once you get out of here today, take consistent and immediate action. Take little steps. Start networking. Do these things literally every day. It's a new thing you want to take on, a new set of skills and a new set of habits is what it is. They say it takes 21 days to create a new habit. However, I think that you can do it quicker. I think you can get out there and do things much faster if you decide to do so. Collecting all those thoughts and ideas, contracts and agreements. If we were to run through the process one more time for you, you have your contracts and agreements, you do your warm-up, you go out to the house, you snap pictures of the property, then you sit down and you start to talk about some of those longer documents, the borrower's financial agreement. There's a house inspection document that's actually in your documents in the end, as well as in the early portion of your first little section of the workbook. It's a house inspection document, and what's nice about it is it asks questions in plain terms. And you can get yes or no answers from the homeowner. So make sure that that's filled out. The financial information worksheet, the authorization, purchase and sales agreement. There's a short sale letter of understanding that I have in the packet. And what that is, it's just a basic letter of understanding that explains that the homeowner knows they're not going to be making money on this process. They're just doing this so that they can do everything possible to avoid a foreclosure. So that document's in there. There's a letter of agreement and addendum. Let's actually go into the documents, the agreements at the back. Let's pull that one out. Again, you have your description of agreements. And this letter of agreement and addendum looks like this right here. This one. And it says concerning the purchase of, the first line you would put the property, by would be your company or your name, the date, whatever date it's happening on. I have been made aware that my loan on the property at 123 Main Street contains a due on sale clause, which means the lender has the right to call the entire loan due upon transfer of title. I understand this loan will stay in my name until it's satisfied. I'm aware that the above buyer has no intentions of assuming the said loan. No promises have been made to me that the loan will be assumed or paid off. I agree to hold harmless and release any liability for the buyer or assignee shown on the attached agreement, or for any future buyer and or assignee in the event the loan is called due or goes into default for any reason, for any cause of action. Moving down to the last paragraph, the buyer has agreed to make up the back payments only upon resale of the property. No promises have been made to do so prior. If the buyer is unable to resell the property, I understand the payments may not be brought current and the property may go into foreclosure. in which case the buyer and his or assignees will be held harmless. In the event that I provide for the buyer a key or keys to the property, I agree to hold harmless the buyer for any and all unexpected damages that may occur to the property. So just another document that is protecting you as the buyer. As you noticed, it mentioned multiple times holding harmless the buyer for situations that are oftentimes out of our control. So just another document that will make you feel comfortable in this process. The power of attorney gets notarized. What's the results? I'll show you a few checks. $20,000, $10,525, $15,000, $23,754, $11,200. This was actually a approval letter from one of the banks, just so you see what an approval letter looks like. The company in that case was AMC, which is Ameriquest Mortgage. Another check, $7,187, $34,020, $51,274. Another approval letter right there, $5,000, $3,500, $3,460, $5,000. So different size checks, some small, some large. You know, they come with consistency though. That's what I like about this business. It reminds me of when I was in the mortgage industry, where consistently you can get checks in this industry as well. And if you think your education is expensive, try ignorance. Ben Franklin was actually one of our first millionaires. He might have been the first millionaire in this country. So he's somebody that said, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. What are some of our roadblocks to getting started? Your own beliefs. Might even be the people and family and friends around you. Do you remember in my preliminary seminar, I talked about the Tony Robbins form that I had, the document that said I bought the personal power system. You guys remember that? And that was $223 or something like that. And my family and friends were the first ones to say that that was a rip-off. It's a waste of money. Don't do that. I don't think that kind of stuff is. I think you invest in yourself and you make it what it is. If you go into it and you expect something to happen because of what you've invested, it will happen. But you have to be strong-minded. You have to realize that they're not doing it, but they're not doing it for a reason. Don't expect everybody's going to be in your corner. Limited time. If your goal is to retire early, you're going to have to spend time now to get to that point. If your goal is to not have a problem with limited time, then you're going to have to create ways where you don't have a limited time issue, and that might be to start to think in terms of how can I get other people on my team? How can I outsource some of these issues? Lack of education. You're educating today. You're getting educated today. You spent money and spent time to get here. Your lack of money. I talked about lines of credit. I talked about private funds. I talked about hard money lenders. I talked about getting the word out about what you're doing, how that will attract people. Beliefs are the largest of all things preventing people from achieving. When you make a decision, go with that decision. Have faith that it's going to work out. Decide upon your goals, put them on paper. Have a plan and a timeline to achieve those goals. Decide today whether you're the type of person that takes action. Big projects are achieved by accomplishing those in small pieces. Education, preparation. When you work with us, you get educated, you get prepared for this process. We talk about a blueprint, we put your goals on paper, we get you to a point where you're clear on where your direction is. Supervision, you have people there holding your hand, getting you through the process, building a pipeline, and then closing that first deal, helping you become a closer. Have direct contact. When you work with us, you'll have direct contact and relationship with myself and the team. You get plugged into a proven system that works, and you take much of the busy work off your plate, and it allows you to focus on the things that you need to focus on. Who in here has 7 to 10 hours a week that they think they could focus on this business? Okay. Anybody have 20 hours a week they could focus? All right. We have a couple people that have literally 20 hours a week they could focus on this business. You have the time to do it. I can only work with a limited number of individuals. Only those who take action today will qualify for these packages. There are 2 different levels to get involved. And let's talk a little bit about what others are saying. Unlike a lot of supposed gurus, he's actually doing it. The fact that he's willing to share it with others is impressive. That's Julio H. in North Plainfield. And it's not only about making money, we're really providing a service here, saving the homeowner from foreclosure. We do the right thing for these people, help them out, everyone wins. That's Constantine V. out of New Brunswick, New Jersey. And I've already had several calls from motivated sellers And I just met Dave less than 2 weeks ago. And I have a couple more here. Uh-oh, it's back. It's back. The shot. This was about 3 minutes after the shot.
Where are you?
I'm the one getting
Okay, yeah, all right. let's
Getting
see.
punched.
All right, let's see.
the high fives, and now I'm getting yanked back into the game. That was fun. Having had minimal sales experience prior to training with David, I have grown tremendously in confidence and my ability to close. I never had a client commit to me over the phone and say that they would agree to do business, let alone give me all their personal information, because I planned for that to be my outcome. With David's coaching, this has been made possible for me. In just a short amount of time, I've seen these results. His techniques are simple, they're easy, and they're unique. Also, using his mailing system, I've received an overwhelming response of callers who are ready and willing to do business. Following his formula, there is no way you can lose. I'm looking forward to quitting my full-time job in a year and becoming rich and happy as a lady thanks to David. If you haven't been to one of his seminars, get there. And that was Sele out of Boston, Massachusetts. So I have students all over the place. Level 1, consulting. Here's what you get. This entire package is valued at $49.97. One-on-one calls 4 times a month for 3 full months, scheduled as needed. There's different ways we can go about doing this. We could do one-on-one calls that are scheduled, or we could go about doing a different system where you call me when you need me. You might have properties that are at the point you just need to speak to me that same day. And I'll do it either way, whatever's going to work better for you. In the beginning, I normally schedule them up front, and I do it through a system. But once you start getting your mailing going and you start having the phone ringing, you're going to need me right away. I'll make the trip out to 2 houses to put 2 properties under contract. We'll go out for your first 2 deals, sit there with you, we put it under contract, and we make it happen. Sources for lines of credit and credit cards. What I gave you today was just the tip of the iceberg, just the beginning. Those lines of credit and credit cards, you can get great money with what I gave you, but there's even more. There's more beyond that. Sources for marketing pieces. I show you the direct mail piece that pulls very well. I'll show you the 5 or 6% that it'll pull, and even on top of that, we've had people as much as a 10 or 12% off of this one direct mail piece. The bandit signs, where to get those for cheap, how to go about getting all the tools that you'll need. Access to my personal library of education. I said many times in my preliminary seminar and other times, I've spent a lot on myself, $87,000. And that's because I want to continue to grow and educate in my own. So I have a large library of education. I give you access to that as well. Access to my personal Rolodex of important people in the process. That might be attorneys. It might be contractors. It might be trainees who can go out and put these properties under contract. It might be other realtors in different parts of the state. They're going to help you get the comps that you need on the property. Today, this whole package won't be $49.97. There is a bonus, extra special, and I started doing this a couple months ago. 3 or 4 people have taken me up on it. Spend a day with the diamond. Spend a day with me. We're going to talk about everything but real estate. Let's talk about what BJ said here. I had a chance to spend the better part of the day with David Oswald, and I found it to be eye-opening. The way in which he has structured his business became apparent, and now I realize why it makes so much sense to approach the business of short sales and real estate investing the way that he does. During the day, David actually got a phone call from a motivated seller, and instead of him being overly anxious or ready to get out to the property, David literally tested his motivation by asking him to come out to the mall that we were hanging out at and bring the documents to him. And it happened. An hour later, we were literally sitting at the food court looking over a stack of documents that had been delivered to us by the homeowner. This stuff really happens in Dave's world. It's changed the way I look at things, and without spending that day with him, it may have taken me years to truly get this concept. I'm going to start reading David's ebook on outsourcing and taking more of this stuff to heart right away. That was BJ out of New Jersey as well. My name's David Oswald. I'll be at the back. I look forward to working with everybody in here. Good luck, guys.
Take a look at this. have something to show you.
Have you ever wanted to work directly with someone that could change your life and your business? You know, we all pay for things in life one way or another. For some of us, we pay for our lack of knowledge and our lack of education, not exposing ourselves to what could have been. Small decisions often lead to big advances. And oftentimes, fortune will favor the bold ones who take action. Others of us literally pay the price for our information, and we invest in ourselves because we know that is what separates us from those who are simply trying to be their best. We know that trying is not good enough. We must execute the plan, even when it hurts a bit financially. I believe that you are watching this for a reason. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. Nowadays, people know the price of everything and the value of nothing.
And it looks like this time, it's for real.
Come on board. You'll be glad that you did. Welcome home.
City's my child.